Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
Got lots of love. Love. 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 Got lots of love. Love.
Good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, CGL gamers, rise up, because we are here today with the start of our GOATS tournament. And of course, I could not cast this lovely match we have for you alone. I got Loki side by side with me here. And Loki, even though we're starting the GOATS tournament today, these teams are at the end.
Yeah, this is, the start of our bracket, the start of our stream, but we're coming out swinging with the grand finals for the EU mid bracket. These two teams are looking amazing the entire way. We've got DYS Colomar versus GG New Jeans. This is actually a winners finals rematch. So going to be interesting to see how these teams can turn the tables from what happened last time. Last time, Colomar took the win in a 3-0. This time they're going to have to get to 4. So hopefully that gives New Gene some time to adjust.
Well, yes, not too sure of the authenticity of that win. From what I heard, actually, there was basically 3 teams in this mid bracket, and one of the teams just had to back out at the last minute. So that's why we're in this grand final situation for the EU mid-tier bracket. Of course, I could be wrong. Maybe they did play the match and I just didn't see it. But yeah, so that's just kind of where we're at now with these teams, and it's just going to be a super interesting breakdown, especially because we are back on Goats, Loki.
Absolutely. We got the 2CP, we've got old school goats, Brig has her bash. This is exactly what we're wanting if you're a fan of old school Overwatch, and I absolutely am. Goats was what I got to first coach when I came into the scene. It's what I first loved watching, and so I could not be more excited to see it back here. As a Brig player at heart, getting old school Brig with the bash and everything is just it's just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, there's a slew of different changes as well that kind of come with it, right? Thanks to the Overwatch Workshop, we're allowed to kind of take this little time capsule, go back in time, and relive some of these great things. But I mean, Goats, there was a lot of different variations of it back in the day, but we've kind of limited it to its purest form with this tournament, right? You're guaranteed to see the Diva, the Zarya, the Lucio, and the Brig every single time. Outside of that, there is a little bit of fluctuation, though. You have the opportunity for Winston on dive maps if you really feel like you need it. And then your flex support, it has a wide range of options to go with depending on what your team wants to do.
Yeah, we've got that. The Ana, Zen, or Moira, whichever one you're kind of feeling with that. I would say you probably can go for the Zen in this one pretty easily. Take that extra damage as opposed to anything else. With the Brig healing being the way it was back in, the original, that's a lot of extra healing coming through. I don't really know that you need an Ana or a Moira there, but we do oftentimes see teams that want to really take it up tempo, take the game quickly, to end up picking that Moira just as an acceleration of the pace. A lot of times we'll see that sometimes with the Winston pick with the Moira. Zen really is just focusing on that long sustained damage. Meanwhile, if you're playing the Ana, you're looking for like one single ability usage that's going to completely win the fight. You want to sneak the nade in, past the Diva, past the Rhine Shield, right to where it needs to go. And then if you hit, congratulations, you win the fight. Doesn't really have as much as that sustained potential as the Zenyatta does, however.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you also hit the nail on the head there with tempo, right? When we bring everybody to this equal level, the baseline comps that Goats was, right? The teams that were better back in the day and the teams that are going to excel in this tournament, they were the ones who could set the tempo at incredibly fast pace, getting in before your opponent has a chance to react, just constantly going over and over and just going for fights time and again, making them work with whatever ults you have. It's always going to be a pleasure to see, but I believe through the whisper in our ear, we do have confirmation. Our first map, who's surprised? It's Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, I mean, that's just classic Overwatch right there. It's classic Overwatch, classic Goats. Anything that you could want, it's going to happen on Lijiang. And I personally, again, could not be more excited. I think Lijiang is probably one of the best opening maps in the entire game, just because every single point is so diversified. We've got Night Market, where really anything can kind of happen. We've got Control Center, which has been consistently all-out brawl. And then Gardens, which usually leans more towards that dive nature. I would not be surprised at all if we saw some Winston coming out on Gardens. Which I think, as a result, Lijiang is a really, really good map to set the stage for what we should expect from both teams throughout the rest of the tournament.
Absolutely. I was going to say, yeah, I could not agree more. I mean, Lijiang, as you said, it's a staple, right? There's never a worry about, what if somebody's hiding on this corner? What if somebody's doing this? Everybody knows Lijiang in and out, right? You know the flank routes. You could name every health pack location off the top of your head. There's just comfort within this map because it's been around for so long. It's a staple for most tournaments, for anything, really. But, going back to Goats, I mean, this was one of the maps that actually kind of originated the comp, right? A lot of people were already playing, quad tank on this map with a little bit of Roadhog action, if you think way, way back. as well as the control center point was always famous for being the one where you had to bust out the Rhine, simply because the doorways and stuff almost made it perfect for him, right? It was the perfect size for him to get in there, do a lot of work with that hammer, and just drop the shatter when it needed to. Which, honestly, like, I love GOATs as a whole, but that's what I'm looking forward to the most. Just Rhine players, you're allowed to have fun again for the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, even in modern Overwatch, Control Center tends to be a really brawly type of map. You know, we see a lot of those brawl tanks that we wouldn't see elsewhere in the game, where mobility and diving is such a huge thing, really shine on Control Center. And that's today in modern Overwatch, which is all about mobility, it's all about speed, it's all about those flank angles. Here, though, if you can already, you know, make rush and make brawl a really big thing on Control Center, I couldn't, you know, can't imagine how it'll look back in old school, you know, 2016 Overwatch, throwing out the goats here.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's truly going to be a different level, especially because, you know, again, we're dealing with our mid-tier bracket here, which mid-tier sounds a little bit condescending, but teams are allowed to go, I believe the cutoff limit was 4.3k, so we probably could have some GM players rolling around in this lobby, ready to do some damage here. But it looks like we are starting out on the night market, and they are on the Rhine.
Well, I mean, just looking at the teams like Thigh Highs, that's the support you've got to recognize if you've been hanging out, especially in some of the Ka areas. We've got, you know, Chimps, Fire, Ghost on the other side. This is a stacked roster from both teams. And already, it does look like New Jeans wants to take the aggression here, kind of making their way towards the point with this posturing on the objective.
Yes, indeed. New Jeans opting in to take the fight on point, being the first one there. So now you're seeing the Rhines come in, swinging like crazy. Both bubbles being extended, but Ghost is going to be the first one to fall here. And now it's just going to be cleanup coming through New Jeans. With no Rhine, you have no pressure. And you're seeing how aggressive Soulcatcher can be with that pin. And it's just going to be a quick little cleanup fight. The point kept going to New Jeans.
Yeah, and I love that point you made about the Zarya bubbles going out with that timing. It's one of the big things that you really need to keep your eye on in these GOAT matchups, is how the Zaryas are interacting with their Reinhardts. You know, the effect that they're having. Here, 800 health on this Zarya, ready to get their Rein pumping through, bubbles already rolling out.
Yes, indeed, the GOAT's code makes things a little quirky to make it feel like it did back in the day, but now you're seeing both Ryan swing back and forth. Soulcatcher dropping dangerously low, but so close to that shatter. Ghost trying to take advantage of that. It's just going to be a little bit of a mini reset here. Both teams now just posturing, make sure everybody's up as Soulcatcher. First ult online is this Earth Shatter. The support ult's coming up with it as well, but GG seems to be wanting to just take the fight back to point, play it slow, but Ghost is down again. No healing comes through. The shatter drops. The supports are on the ground. Nothing to be said. And it's just Jover just like that. That fight goes to Jeans once more.
Yeah, I think that does another great job of showing you how important the Zaryas are in this matchup. There's no DPS to close out overextended low health target. It has to be a high charge Zarya looking for that kill. There, Soulcatcher did a great job pushing Ghost back, creating a, you know, big open space where Monster was left open. But Kalmar wasn't able to capitalize on it. The Zarya wasn't high enough charge. As a result, Eugene's
capitalized. There's a shatter from behind they weren't expecting. Ghost is able to catch one, and it managed to take the Zarya off the map without that damage. It's going to be really difficult here. And now the Diva Bomb also being committed with the Transcendence. Actually, a lot of ult expended from Kalmar here just to try to get themselves going on this point. But the Rhine does not want to go into that night just yet, but it seems as though there was no other option for Soulcatcher here. The Diva doing what Diva does best, stalling out the point. Gonna be taking up to, it looks like, probably about 86% here before DYS Kalmar gets control of the point.
Sometimes you just gotta have a clean ult to send it on through. That ult rotation, name of the game with any sort of these sustained comps, and already they're doing great. Here, old school rally coming out.
Oh my gosh, look at that tech, the grab onto the wall, and Soulcatcher just shatters out of it, and it allows them to catch Ghost unexpected, and just the rest of GG New Jeans is able to rush in here. That's some old school Rhine tech that, for the people who don't remember, that was absolutely incredible.
With only 15 seconds left on this point, you've got to be wondering if Kalmar even has a touch here. Going to be up to Lucy. Oh, something gets blocked by the Brig Shield.
Not only that, but then you're seeing the Rhines go down, and the massive Diva Bomb as everyone's trying to get out of that tiny little corridor. It's not enough. They're caught. GG New Jeans is going to take round one here in a pretty convincing fashion.
Yeah, looking incredibly clean. I don't know how this game, in the first iteration of it, went 3-0 to Colomar's way. Right there, New Jeans only dropping one fight, and it was because they just lost on the ult rotation. They lost on the ult usage. And a lot of the time, we're only going to see one or two fights really be fights that you can just dump the ult usage into due to how slow and how little, damage is really being done through a lot of these GOATS fights. The ults just take 8 years to charge up. As a result, there's really only going to be one, maybe two fights on these control. Press Q to win the fight. A lot of times we're going to be looking a lot more on the usage, the timing, how these Zarya bubbles are working out. How far extended is the Rhine? And here, very extended, right into the fight!
Oh my gosh, Ghost just goes in, takes the Zarya out of the fight here, but Soulcatcher manages to answer, take out a massive source of healing in Chimps. Now it is just going to be a 5v4 here, as they're just posturing back and forth, but with the Brigitte alive, it means that GG New Jeans is going to be able to take this a little bit more aggressively, trading Zen for Zen, tick for tack, but it seems like at the end of the day, GG New Jeans should be able to get the first point cap here and keep Colomar just kind of bottled up in this tiny room, but they're actually coming back into this now that the Zarya is back. The Shatter gets nothing. Ghost was blocked out and now stunned up. Finally goes down here. So now it is up to the rest of Colomar to try to figure out a way to survive this, and unfortunately it does not seem like an option for them, as that mace catches the Zen. That should be the end of their life.
Yeah, really good play there by New Jeans, especially from Saltcatcher there. Catching Ghost in that charge, knocking them down. You do lose the Zarya, but in that time, you're able to do enough damage to make up for it. Ryan is still going to be probably the best person to kill in this comp, the most valuable target to be looking at.
Yes, indeed, but the Shatter being dropped here, it just goes on to the other Rhine, but it is enough to take Ghost out. Even with the Transcendence healing, just pins him away. So now, even though Colomar has invested 2 support ultimates, they have to back out of this one, and that is not something you ever want to have happen here. Soulcatcher gives their life to take Ravage off of the map, and that's just going to be another soft ace epic here, but it looks like Colomar actually kind of wants to fight this one. They're slowly pushing in towards the point here, even without their Zarya. They think they can do it potentially, but I don't know. It's going to be difficult, especially with the grab bomb combo lined up perfectly in the hallway. It's going to be the Zen and the Diva Mech caught by that one, and just a cleanup coming through from the Brig and the high charge Zarya. It means that we're going to be taking up to 70%. Could be final fight here.
Yeah, about one left on the table, and the ever-important Shatter is up for New Jeans. Colomar, they have their own, Diva Zarya combo ready to go, but can it break through a beat, a Transcendence, and a rally? I'd be a little bit suspect.
It's obviously going to be difficult, but the grab's eaten, so it doesn't even matter. And now, with everybody on their backs here, the follow-up, the support ult's keeping everybody on New Jeans healthy, and it's just a matter of cleaning up the competition here. The Lucio's going to try desperately in vain to get the point here. The bubble, the Rhine pins the hero to save everyone from the bomb. New Jeans takes map 1 in a hilarious fashion with that save at the end.
What a convincing showing, too, to start out our grand finals for this bracket. Already turning the tables, New Jeans on the board. They've turned their map score against Colomar from a goose egg to a nice little french fry there, and looking to continue to build up that streak, if you will. Should it be very, very fun going into Hybrid, is I believe. Yes, Hybrid's going to be our next map type. So possibly some King's Row there, some old school Goats Row, if you will.
I would be violently surprised if a team did not pick King's Row in this tournament. I would be flabbergasted. Sure, there's other maps in the pool for this tournament, but let's be real. If you're not picking King's Row, then you're not really honoring the Goats tradition here. But obviously that map was a bit of a one-sided affair, but it is just a drop in the bucket, right? This is a grand finals. It is first to 4, so there's plenty of time for Colomar to just kind of reset, figure out what went wrong, and kind of bounce back on this one. And I mean, tempo is pretty much the main thing you said that kind of went wrong there, right, Loki?
Yeah, I mean, I really think Colomar is just overextending themselves a little bit. We see them really trying to speed through to break through the tank barrier that New Jeans is putting up here, which works wonderfully in Modern. Overwatch. Not so much in Goats, where there's just too much sustain. It's really too easy in that situation for Salt Catcher to step up, cut off Kalamar's tank, and then just blow them up before they really even get a chance to respond. And that's basically what New Jeans is doing. Yeah, they're reacting with sustain and composure in order to just break down the over-aggression that Kalamar is throwing at them.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I don't think I could have hit the nail on the head better myself. It truly is. It's one of those things that really highlights team play, right? You're seeing New Jeans, they're kind of all in together, right? Anytime the Rhine wants to try to go in, there's a Zarya bubble. There might be some DM going to make sure everybody's okay. Just sort of having that crazy level of synergy, making sure your supports stay up as well. They're peeling for each other as well as the D.Va. You know, talking of Goats, right? D.Va probably has the hardest job of all of them, right? You're a constant peel as well as a source of damage, as well as just a damage mitigator. You have to do almost everything in the comms. It's just absolutely wild to even imagine, right? From playing back in the day. But moving forward, of course, we are on King's Row. Like I said, if you did not expect this, then I don't know what you were expecting. It's King's Row. You had to go.
It's King's Row. It's not only is it, you know, just Scrims Row, classic Overwatch. It's the brawl map. It's, you know, it's tight corners. It's long stretches of open space where you're literally just like, we're gonna take, you know, fight 1 at this corner. We're gonna take fight 2 at this corner. We're gonna take fight 3 at this choke in this corner. It is just marching down the map step by step by step. Exactly built for the type of play that we want Goats to have. And now New Jeans actually pulling off the Zenyatta, adopting the Moira here, which I find to be very, very interesting. They were winning last time by playing a little bit slower, a little bit more composed, a little bit more team-based. Now adapting to the Moira, which is a lot more of an aggressive, speedy version of Goats.
Well, it is more aggressive and more speedy. You're trading off the discord or potential bursting of a target, and you're trading it off for more sustain throughout the fight. A lot of teams obviously opted for the Zen because original Goats, you know, nothing ever really fell over, nothing perished, but you're seeing the D.Va almost be a bait here as everyone's waiting up in the movie theater here, but Salt is going to come down first, swinging that hammer, building up massive ult charge here, and it's going to be enough damage onto the support line with the help of that Zarya here, and it is just going to be some cleanup. But actually, Soulcatcher does get caught out and falls here, so this could be a potential angle here if Kalamar resets fast enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the play there. You know, pull it in Kalamar and then just drop onto the backline like a bunch of assassins. New Jeans there loading up Assassin's Creed 4, deciding to be pirates for a little bit. And here, though, they got to take a fight without the Reinhardt fully back.
And the shatter puts everybody on the ground, and Monster's the first one to fall here. And that is probably going to just spell disaster for this entire push. Without the break, nothing's going to go be able to live, and that's just what's exactly happening here. You're now seeing the high charge Zarya on the other side. Ravage is pushing forward, trying to get these stagger picks, these kills. Unfortunately, Donkey Finger not able to live, but the Coalescence actually being committed, interestingly enough, could kill Ravage on the other side of it, and it does. That's another reset on the Zarya energy.
Gotta find it here, and that sets them up to play on this choke, which is absolutely massive. We see a lot of times teams give up the first point just to play here on this choke, so holding this for Coalescence, absolutely a trade I'll take.
The stun into the shatter, the combo that we all know and love. The Transcendence and Beat, though, matching it on the other side here. You've overlaid your support ult, Kalamar. You got to figure out exactly what you're doing here. Now with the grab coming through, the bomb combo as well. Doesn't seem to find anybody, actually, as ults are just being flung back and forth here. The Rhine trying to go onto a Zen, but you got to remember Zen has a lot of people peeling for him. And this aggression from Soulcatcher starting to catch up with him now, as the rest of GG New Jeans is having to back up, run for their lives here. And it seems like they're actually going to be able to get away okay thanks to that Moira heal and the Lucio speed.
Yeah, they're out of this one, but they've given up quite a bit for not too terribly much. You know, they got the support ults and D.Va Bomb. Actually, I take that back. It looks like New Jeans here actually doing a really good job making sure all of the ults maintain high. This should make for a really good re-engage, especially with Coalescence ready to go.
Absolutely, and the grab is eaten, so it looks like GG New Jeans has a huge advantage already with the Rhine down. It is just going to be, again, these fights are happening so quickly. The damage orb takes down Fyrus. You hate to see that icon in the kill feed because you know there's a tad bit of bitterness to go with it here. And back to spawn our DYS Colomar. They gotta figure another one out for this push.
Yeah, absolutely. It does still look like New Jeans has the big ult advantage here, especially with that Shatter ready to go. It's been fight winning here on out. Ooh, Bomb Shatter doesn't come through, but good kill onto the Reinhardt.
Yes, indeed, that bomb catches who it needs to. Soulcatcher having to hold shield for their lives here. That Discord orbit won't go away and won't stop harassing them. But finally, they managed to get it off of them. They managed to be okay here. So now both teams just kind of resetting again here. But GG New Jeans, they have a huge ult advantage with the Shatter. It catches 3. So Donkey Finger is able to follow up onto the Brig. And now the Diva Bomb just being committed to try to help everybody live here. Gonna be able to get back in the mech is Chimps, but not before the rest of the team is falling by the wayside here. So the Diva has no choice but to get back into the spawn to try to keep that mech intact.
Yeah, I mean, this is just absolutely brutal. You can see why this arch is so powerful. It funnels everyone into exactly one part where that Rhine swing and that Zarya left click can catch everyone on the team. Makes it really easy to find the Brig Shatters too onto the important targets. And here, we gotta beat a Zarya and most importantly, that Diva Bomb ready to go here for New Jeans.
Yes, indeed, the wombo combo, but the grab is eaten by Chimps, able to be the one to save the day here. The Shatter now being committed as well. It's just going to be a back and forth slugfest. The Diva Bomb coming out from Say manages to find Virus of all people. The Bridge Shield must have been down, but it seems like by will or by force that this cart will start moving again for Colomar here. It was messy, but they managed to get it moving once more.
And I want to say that was a great play by Ghost there at the end to stay alive for as long as they did. Ghost was living on like 100 health for a good 10 seconds. And what that did was they forced all of New Jeans to go like, oh, we have to kill the Reinhardt. We have to kill the Reinhardt. It's such a low target. We have to kill the Reinhardt. Overextends in, it takes them out of position, lets the rest of Colomar and especially Ravage there at high charge just clean up the rest of New Jeans getting that fight win.
Yes, indeed. Now on board with Ghost once again. Potentially the Shatter could be the hero played in order to unlock point B here, but a lot of damage coming through. But the Shatter, the whole team's on their backs. Ghost is the hero that is needed for this push here. Everybody on New Jeans has no option but to fall. Slowly but surely, the Diva's going to try living as long as she can, but there's only so much you can do when you're against this composition. And that should be point B fully capped here.
This seems to be a trading of which Reinhardt's going to make the play of the day. You know, every single fight seems to be, oh, you know, this Reinhardt overextended, this Reinhardt got a huge shatter, this Reinhardt made a huge play by just not dying. It really seems to be coming down to Salt Catcher versus Ghost, who's ready to make this play.
Yes, indeed. But now the playmaking is in everybody else's hand here. There's so many ultimates online. It's going to be hard to keep track of it all. But we're going to try to be on board here with it. The grab bomb combo. But the bomb falls into the hole, so it's not able to get anything. The beat now to sustain, as it looks like Colomar is trying to just keep themselves alive here while they figure something out. But not before Virus finally falls here. But actually, they're turning the fight in their favor. Ghost just swinging the hammer. Ravage on high charge is able to take down 2 supports. And so now it is the other side of things where we're just using the trank. But Zarya's both with high charge back and forth, going absolutely crazy here. Who's going to come out on top? Well, the Zen falls, and that's going to be the key, the death that matters the most, it seems, because Ravage is able to clean up after that. The Shatter's just committed to a shield. Salt Catcher not only down in players, down in moral now, as it is just nothing left to do. Ghost is just swinging that hammer into the grab here, and it is going to be Colomar once again pushing towards the end of the map.
I'm sorry, but did Ravage just get 2 Zarya ults in one fight? They got 2 grabs. There was one at the start of that with the Diva Bomb when it went flying past into the hole, and then one to close it out. They're bookending their fights with grabs at the moment.
I mean, listen, sometimes when you're able to build it that crazily, you're able to do it. The Shatter comes through, it is able to catch the Brigitte, and that's the key pick you need. Now Donkey Finger probably going to have to commit this Graviton somewhere in the fight to try to keep everybody up, but Salt Catcher is already down. So is Donkey Finger as well, without ever being able to extend that ultimate. So now it is just a stall moment here. The bomb being thrown out from Say, trying to stay alive on this cart, but pinned away. The Diva Mech is going to get burned down here while the cart slowly pushes in. There's not going to be a lot of opportunity to contest, and no, there is not. 47 seconds on the time bank. Colomar finishes King's Row.
Yeah, and that is actually a very, very good time bank to have. A lot of these fights going quickly, but one of the things with GOATs is how many fights you get. And so even though these fights are ending before we really get into like 2 or 3 ability rotations, we're getting so many fights. Because when you die in GOATs, you all die at the exact same time. There's none of this like big staggering that we see a lot of the time in the more DPS focused comps. And so as a result, you're getting a ton of fights throughout these maps. So getting through that in only 47 seconds is actually huge. I mean, we saw what, 5 or 6 fights just on street phase. Usually that's a phase we see get through in like 3 or 4. And so being able to close it out that quickly, still have a time bank. It doesn't get over a minute, which is usually the marker we want to see. If you get over a minute, the other team caps in overtime. They don't get another push under a minute. They cap in overtime. They do get another push. It resets them, gives everyone else that extra minute to go ahead and take the fight. So they don't hit the benchmark, but they do still get a very, very advantageous note on their side. Anytime you get a full cap, you've got to be happy with it. And here, going into this next one, looking at New Jeans, it does look like they're shifting away from that Moira. It doesn't quite give them what they wanted to. I actually agree with that. I think Thigh High has been kind of killing it on the Zenyatta, so to see them back on that, I think is absolutely huge. I'm going to be interested to see how the defense works here for Calamar. They did really well when they were choosing the fight location and pace. On the defense now, where they have to adapt a little bit more to how New Jeans is doing it, should be a bit of a change for them.
Yes, indeed, and that's something we are going to make sure we're keeping an eye on here. Zarya Bubble's being committed, and you're seeing Ghost just get super aggressive, but drop super low in the process, not before being traded out. Rhines on both sides, and again, this Brigitte falling first is just catastrophic, always for an offense here, but they're actually in a 4v4 situation where it seems like GG New Jeans should be able to at least get some pressure on this point, while Calamar has to wait for the slightly longer respawn. Now you're seeing Sage just kind of poke everybody out, keep note of what's forward and what's not. Is there going to be a speed re-engage to cap this point, or are they just going to give it up? And it seems like they attempted to re-engage, but giving up the mech doesn't actually manage to get onto the point now. So now they're going to have to try to hold this choke, but they might just break through it. The Diva Bomb already being committed. The Rhine Shield can't shield everybody, and that's 3 for the Diva. Even in the baby form, Virus being cleaned up now, and it is just the baby Diva running for her life. No stagger, interestingly enough, just choosing to get it over with, get the Diva out of there. And that's going to be the payload moving.
Yeah, those recontests are really, really hard into something like Ghost, just because of the amount of CC that gets put out for it. I mean, you've got Bash, you've got Whip Shot, you've got the Diva boops, you've got right clicks being able to boop you. There's charge that can take you off of your push. And so a lot of times those recontests have to start way, way earlier than we saw that one go through if you want to have any chance of anyone getting to the point in time. Here, though, instead, we're like, see another bit of the High Ground Assassins play. Oh, they right on the Salt Catcher. There it is.
Salt Catcher a little too aggressive, drops the Shatter, doesn't find anything with it just yet now, but Ghost on the other side of it manages to catch 3, but unfortunately all that damage is negated by Thigh High's wonderfully timed Transcendence. Now it seems Gravitons are being traded back and forth here. Both teams are able to get the Rhine and the Brig, so it is a true 4v4 on the point. Everybody's going absolutely crazy. The Diva Bomb being committed from Chimps, but it's going to be Ravage on this Zarya once again cleaning up, and that's going to be a good little defensive hold for Calamar.
Yeah, that's the first fight I think they've won throughout this defense. And so now being able to choose whatever corner they want to play on and really group up is absolutely huge. Something I do want to look at, though, look at Calamar's ult bar line. There's only 2 things up there. It's only the support ults. Meanwhile, Brig coming through for New Jeans. I don't love being a support ult down, but if I had to choose something, it'd be Brigitte, just due to the amount that it gives you on this engage. And you can see how quickly New Jeans is taking it.
Yes, indeed, Ghost is already fallen victim to it, but the Brig got a little too aggressive on both sides of the coin here. You're seeing the Rhine commit to try to push the Diva off, realize that was a bad idea, but Salt Catcher was already in too deep with the Zarya now. So Ravage actually going to be the hero once again. Nobody wants to contest this high charge Zarya without the Rhine Shield to mitigate some of that damage here, so it is just going to be a tad bit of a soft reset here, that damage coming through. Oh, but they actually commit the grab. We're not done just yet.
They want to close it out.
And now it's being Transcendence committed on both sides to keep everybody alive and healthy here. The bomb being thrown into the backline. This could be followed up with a Shatter from Salt Catcher, but it seems like they don't want to commit it just yet. The Graviton, though, is massive from Donkey Finger, with Moster swinging into it out of nowhere. The chaotic back and forth ultimately ends with New Jeans capping the point here. This should be point B for them.
Yes, I mean, something we don't talk about is how much that shatter, or not that shatter, that Vine swing as well with the Zarya right click. How big that can be. It just pumps in damage. And so that Diva Bomb, even if it doesn't get the kills, what it can do is turn everyone's attention away from the other team. That lets the Zarya just be free into there. And once you've got the Zarya right clicks in, really all you need from Ryan is to clean up with the swings.
Yes, indeed, and it seems like we're just going to keep on going into this one. The swings back and forth here. A lot of people stunned up. Seems like it was from the Earth Shatter. They're going in super aggressively, but it is going to be Ghost, the one that is caught out, and now the rest of Colomar is trying to have it to slowly back up. They don't want to stagger themselves any which way, but it is going to be Ravage, is the one to fall. So now that it's just going to be the payload moving once again.
What a beam down on the Ravage there at the end. I mean, that just shows you exactly how much damage you can put out on an isolated target with this Zen comp and a high charge Zarya. That's why you really need this Discord, because that allows you to start taking out those isolated targets. And great showing of it there to clean up the fight.
Yes, indeed. Virus is now going to be the first one to fall here, as it looks like GG New Gene just wants to cap it all here and now. Transcendence keeping everybody nice and healthy. Nothing followed up on just yet. The Diva Bomb just creating some space for Colomar to try to gain some stuff here. And we are having this pause just a tad bit late. I was going to say, I saw that pause get called. I don't know exactly what was the cause of that, but we are, very interestingly enough, just kind of at this pause. Granted, we're like a minute on from it, so maybe it's resolved itself, but
Yeah,
I don't really know.
a little bit unsure what's going on there, but we'll have some news for you once we can get that one worked out. Interestingly enough, it was Thigh High and New Jeans that was calling for the pause. And right after that, they didn't seem to have too terribly much of an issue. That fight looked rather clean on their end. So, interested to find out what the problem is and what the pause was being needed for there.
I mean, yeah, you never really know, but I mean, looking to where the game was at, right? You know, they, I believe, just got a pick onto Ravage, and the cart is almost fully capped here, so it is going to be an odd little defense. Where they have to stop this card from being full cap, but without your Zarya, right? Without your main damage dealer of the Ghost comp. So, depending on what ults they have online, because I do not recall off the top of my head, it's going to be a super interesting way to see it break down. We could see New Jeans end with a massive time bank.
I mean, yeah, they've got the 2-minute advantage right now. 3 minutes on the clock to Colomar's 47 seconds. So, they cap in this fight, we'll probably see that end somewhere about, 230 to 40, so probably literally 2-minute advantage on to Colomar, and that puts them at a 3-minute time bank for their second round attack, which is a lot of time to have for a second round attack. I mean, that's massive. Oh, already right back into it. There's the grab, there's the beat, there's the transcendence. Everyone's pressing Q once we're unpaused.
All of the Qs are coming through, but no picks have come through yet. But the Shatter from Ghost is going to find. I don't think I actually found anybody, surprisingly enough. And Ghost is going to pay their life for it, because Soulcatcher committed the Shatter onto the other side of it here. And so now it is looking like this cap is going to come through with a almost 3-minute time bank. It'll actually probably get bumped up to almost 3 minutes, because you have to reset the other side to 1. And Colomar, you know, they were happy with their attack, but now looking at New Jeans, maybe you're not as happy.
Yeah, a little bit of a take there. I mean, that's what I was worried about. I think with Colomar is, and once they're into the position of not being able to dictate the fight pace and location as much as they were, you know, is it gonna be a different story? As of so far, it looks like it is a different story. I also have to give credit to New Gene switching back to the Zenyatta. No discredit to the Moira, but Thigh High's Zen is kind of cracked, and you can see how much damage they're putting through here on a lot of the kills, especially in that kill feed. Just up there time and time again. You saw it on the beaming down of Ravage on that one play. Just they're hitting all of their shots, and people are dying very, very quickly as a result. And Colomar here taking a moment to think about what flex support they want to put up here. I think in this situation you go with Diana. Granted,
Uh,
Donkey Finger, Save, Soul Catcher have all been very, very good. But with only a minute on the clock, you're not really going to get a ton of time to build up your ultimates. You're not going to get that Zen Trance. You might get a Coalescence if you go with Moira. But I think you got to be looking for the one button that can win a fight. And I think that's the Ana. Is going to be the Moira, though. I think that's also a great pick. Get that Coalescence up quickly and try to win based on, getting the ults faster.
the question is, do they expect the entire team hiding on the other side now? You're seeing the Fire Strike come through, and it is going to be the stuns back and forth. The Brig trying to be isolated here, and it seems like they should be able to get the follow-up here, but they actually trade Brigs. Interestingly enough, while there's already being pressure put on the point from Colomar here, and Ghost is going to go down, but not before a tick comes through. So at least we're not looking at a draw situation here. There is going to be a winner or a loser of this map, but Thigh Highs is determined to be the winner here, as we're seeing. That was a very interesting pin. What the heck happened there?
A little bit of a physics engine exploit, if you will, and as a result, Champs doesn't look like they're going to be getting back to the team anytime soon.
Yep, and you stagger out the D.Va, and Fyrus goes down to a Fire Strike. This push is all but over. The Lucio's going to look for a touch. 1 HP and a Dream actually manages to live. Oh, nope, I spoke too soon. And it seems like the rest of the team is following up. And, I appreciate what you were saying about, like, the Moira or the Ana, potentially giving you a bit more of a win comp, but we have to remember, Discord Orb is really kind of what allows things to die in the GOATS comp. That's just how crucial that one ability is, because otherwise, GOATS with the Moira variant, before people started playing Zen, it truly was just 4-minute long fights.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a 30% damage increase on Zen at this point in time. So, yeah, I mean, getting through the amount of healing and sustain is absolutely brutal. Lucio plus Brig with Goats era Brig means just nothing dies. Add on to that all of the sustain. Zarya's got her own shields. If she just doesn't take damage for a moment, she does her own healing. The ridiculous amount of armor that Ryan, and D.Va provide, especially D.Va with that defense matrix, can really single out a lot of the damage that are coming through. And so without a Discord Orb, a lot of times it's just almost impossible to break through all of the mitigation and healing that's getting pumped out there. And so that 30% increase, absolutely vital for a lot of occasions. Sometimes, though, you got to change the pace. I like that Moira play. I think that if they had taken those longer fights, they probably could have gotten to the ult advantage there. Just they never were able to take a longer fight. It was a one fight quick into the backline and then the stagger. Here, though, we're going to see our first Winston of the match. The Woat's coming out here. Salt Catcher ready to go through on this Winston.
Yes, indeed. We also have the Ana paired with it, so Thigh High a lot more vulnerable, but, all it takes is one anti-nade and the match can be done up very, very quickly here. You're seeing just the Winston dive in very methodically, but the anti actually pretty massive. It was able to catch a few members of the YS Colomar, and now everybody's starting to drop low. Ghost, unfortunately, not able to be healed back up, and this seems like it's the beginning of the end here. The Zarya falling as well, and it's just a matter of time unless there's a massive hero play somehow, some way from this D.Va bomb catching 15 people. But unfortunately, I just don't think that is going to be the case. It does actually manage to catch the Lucio, interestingly enough, here. But on the other side of things, Moster is investing the rally. That rally armor is going up for the whole team. So even though everybody's coming back, you're coming back into nothing but ultimates and death. And New Cheens is just going to resoundingly take map 2 here. A lot better showing from Colomar, but in the end, New Cheens just still showing that they're better.
Yeah, and I really do like New Jeans pulling up the Winston there and playing it to almost perfection. That's what you want to see from the Winston, is getting those big dives to split off two different sections of the other team. If you can split the tank line and the support line, you can really, really capitalize on that with the speed from your D.Va coming in to help you clean up, as well as the immense charge you get with Zarya. I mean, Zarya bubbling in a Winston diving into that, gonna be at 80 charge in about 2 seconds. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. With that, though, we are going to go to a short break as we are halfway through our first to 4. So assuming we get a whole on roll, we're just going to be 2 more into this. So in just a moment, we will be right back with more GOATS action.
welcome on back to our lovely mid-tier grand finals here for the EU division. I'm still Megalast, still joined by Loki here. And Loki, we've had an interesting two maps so far, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, so far it's looking anything other than mid-tier. It's been high-powered action, both of these teams slugging it out back and forth. We saw the Winston come out for a little bit. We saw the tank play from Salt Catcher be absolutely insane, as well as from DYS Colomar. I am absolutely loving it. Most of these fights are being decided right now just by, that tank aggression and the pacing between these two teams. We're seeing occasionally, but one of the Rhines get frustrated that nothing is dying in goats, and so they overextend just a little bit, and we're seeing some closeouts of fights happening there, taking advantage of the overextended Reinhardt. At the same time, though, can't really blame them, because half the time when they go for those things that I would call an overextension, it works. They get a big charge in the back line, and they're able to take out something like a Brig or a Zarya, which is absolutely massive, and rolling that onto advantage over advantage gets them the fight win. So the interaction of those aggressive plays has been very, very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is super interesting to see just kind of how it's breaking down. We did get to see our first little bit of Winston, but that may have just been because of a giant time bank differential. They wanted to kind of just flex on the opponent for the one time, but I mean, yeah, it just is coming down to the tale of two Rhines, both just wanting to get super aggressive. They're, unleashing all of the weight they've been carrying since Overwatch 2, since pretty much the end of GOATS, where Rhine is just kind of slowly diminished in power, finally showing it on full force how good a Rhine can be. And interestingly enough, our next map is a map that didn't exist for GOATS, but a lot of people always theorized this one would be good. We are heading to the Shambali Monastery.
Yeah, it's nothing that we've seen before. I mean, everything that we're going to see here in this tournament on Shambali is new pages into the story of GOATS, and I couldn't be more excited. I think we might see some Winston come out for this. There's not a ton of high ground and ton of leaping that's super important here on Shambali, but there is some occasions where it would be nice to have a little bit of extra mobility. On the other hand of that, again, this matches the same thing that we see on King's Row a lot of the time, where you can really play corner to corner to corner to corner to corner, which is what GOATS likes to have. GOATS likes to have the ability to pop back around the corner and use that as a way to create some separation, create that difference in kill potential, and you can use some of that natural cover in order to give yourself just that moment to build your resources back up. And Shambali does provide a lot of those opportunities to just, be aggressive, be posturing in such a way that you can really, take the fight and turn it, but then still have the ability to just, pop right back, take the moment, get all of your abilities back up, take it on the next one. And it does look like both of these teams here are opting to stay on the Reinhardt and go for that kind of corner to corner gameplay. With that, does look like both teams are all additionally pulling out the Zenyatta. So rolling that through here, absolutely massive. And it does look like, once again, GG New Jeans wants to take this aggressive pull up right to Colomar's spawn and see if they can't hold him in there for as long as possible. Rolling out here, Salt Catcher. They've got the fire strikes rolling through, trying to find some extra damage. Zarya bubbles are already throwing out, but no progress super being made there. It is going to be Salt Catcher who finds them out first, as Donkey Finger as well. It takes down Ghost. Ravage here, they're trying to find their entrance. They've got high charge, but not going to happen. Kex actually doing a great job of making sure to boop Ravage out into an area where they can be killed. Very well done by them, and now gonna have a nice little reset here for Colomar, with New Jeans still opting to hold this aggressively. They haven't pulled back to what we consider the default area to hold. They're just sitting right on cart as it has moved 0 meters so far. Saltcatcher continuing to swing, finds a caught out Chimps, and they're going to very quickly fall. And without that mitigation from the Diva DM, we're not going to be surprised to see Ghost following them quickly back to spawn. And with everyone dead, this spawn hold continues to be brutal. Now, 6 ultimates up on the side of New Jeans. Meanwhile, Kalmar hanging on to their 1 Zenyatta ult with the dear life. Going to be very, very important to see where Fyrus plays here. If they can avoid getting caught in any of the big ultimates. Here, Saltcatcher into the back line. Opportunity for a shatter. Doesn't find anyone. Took it too far back, actually. The Zenyatta Transcendent still coming through here as Graf has gone out. Additionally, hasn't found anyone. New Jeans now forced to invest their own support ults. Going to be possibly seeing a Briggle come back on this one late. They gotta get back all the way from spawn, though. In an aggressive position, Ghost tries to chase down and solidify this one out. Close out the fight before New Jeans has the opportunity to recontest. Gonna get punished for it, however. Once again, the aggression on either side. Brutal to deal with. Both of these Reinhardts trying so hard, but the damage from these Zaryas is ever punishing, especially with that Brig Bash that you can pull through. It's ever so difficult to play those aggressive plays. Donkey Finger now has, oh, the Diva Bomb. Is it ready? Yes, it is. Catches one, though. The charge on the Reinhardt just barely mistimed. And so Saltcatcher does not find the pit on Ghost that they need. Ghost catching a huge break there. More support ults now being pulled through on this one. Transcendence from Thigh High trying to keep everyone alive, but Ghost has the shatter. This is the opportunity. Can they find it? Opting not to use it, actually. Doesn't look like they think they need it. And that there's the big rubber banding and healing that you can find in Ghost. Ghost gets taken down all the way down to 200 health, immediately back up to 800 in less than a second, just a couple frames. In this fight, still ongoing now. Drav coming out, and finally, we see the closeout of the fight as Say finds their play in order to get Kalmar sent back to spawn with only 1 minute left on the clock.
Yes, absolutely. It seems as though I did not miss too much of the action. It's just been a good defensive hold here, it seems, for the side of New Jeans, but I come back in, Assault is immediately dropping HP in a very dangerous way, but on the other side of it, Ghost is dropping low as well. Finished off with a shatter, and now it's going to be the transition from Virus, desperately trying to keep everybody else alive, but unfortunately, it seems like being alive is just not enough for the time being. The grab being committed from Ravage, just trying to give some sort of advantage edge, getting everybody out, but it seems like it's not working, and the spawn hold could be coming through here in a rather effective manner with only 20 seconds left on the clock.
And it's going to be kind of 20 seconds in a dream here, I feel like, for Kalmar. They've got the Shatter and the Diva Bomb, so a good coordination there could mean the end for New Jeans, but a nice beat on the other side. Shatter comes through and doesn't find anything.
No, it does not find anything. Meanwhile, on the other side of it, a lot of people stunned up, and they're just being finished up. This damage is far too much. The team had to split to make sure they touched the cart. A kill on Saltcatcher is going to feel like a little moral victory, but unfortunately that seems like the only victory Kalmar is going to be getting close to with such a good defensive hold coming out from New Jeans.
I mean, yeah, they've got to push this part 37 meters now. I don't imagine that's too terribly high of a bar to grab there. But even if you just don't close hold, you can basically push the cart all the way to 37 meters. Like that's a fight win, maybe even half a fight win if you can just push people off the point, and they don't play the close hold there. I mean, that's not the number you want to be seen to defend there if you're Kalmar, and I would not love to be in their position. I think at this point, once again, you have to go, I think, back to the Moira, just as a long play Hope or Ana. I mean, you're not really going to be finding what you need on the Zen. I think it's just too short of a time to really roll out the Zen. They are going to be sticking to it. Going to be interesting to see how it interacts here, whether they go with that close hold or not as well. And it doesn't look like they're going for close hold either. That's a bit spicy.
It's confidence.
Well, right as I say that, they've changed their mind, and I do like that play a lot better here, especially with how New Jeans held there for like 3 minutes. I think playing up is absolutely the play.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. I mean, the only hope you have of potentially getting 2 fights, you might as well play the spawn, especially when the spawn has nice little chokes like these for you to hold through. But we will have to see if the Zen pick pays off. You know, the other side, both sides have Discord. It's sort of a mutual war of attrition here. No, neither team wanting to go to the payload, actually, just coming through this nice little left room. And interestingly enough, Soulcatcher actually takes enough damage to go down here, so this defense starts off at least on the correct foot here. You're going to see the Zarya slowly chunk down, actually one of the last ones to fall here, but first fight does go to Kalamar.
Yeah, that's a really good fight, not just because of, obviously, you get the first fight win, but because of how long that fight took with a big stagger onto stay at the end there. It means that we're going to see 40 seconds before another one goes out here. Everything for Kalamar here has to be perfect with time-based.
Absolutely, and perfect timing is the shatter dropped from Ghost, and it puts everybody on their back, allows the whole team to follow up on those damage. You see those assist icons in the kill feed because you realize just how much everybody is helping each other in this comp, and that's just a simple 1 fight, 1 win here. And if they can keep the ults rotating exactly like this, but that's a terrible start. And now it's just going to continue to escalate even further here, just back and forth. It seems like it's going to have to be stall attempts here. The bomb being committed to try to create some space. It does actually manage to catch Sei, and as well as the pin from Ghost does take down Moster, so a bit of a silver lining here, even though Ghost manages to fall to the Zenyatta here. So now with 4 members only pushing this payload, the D.Va out of mech actually, it's going to be rough for this defense to come back. The Lucio stalling as long as they can. They have the Brig to hold their hand, but unfortunately the Shatter is going to be absolutely massive here, and it's just back and forth. The ult being committed by either side, trying to be able to get back into this one, but unfortunately the defense has lost its hold, has lost its grip, and it seems like New Jeans will be going up 3-0 heading to match point.
Yeah, I honestly think Kalamar lost not enough on that one fight where they lost. I mean, that's the risk that you get of trying to extend those fights, is if you extend them and you don't win them, then you're done. That's it. You're gone. Extending those fights means you're just going to get so much cart push if you lose them. And we see exactly why a lot of times the best play on GOATs is to just die as fast as possible. If you're losing the fight, just send it on through. We don't see a whole lot of opportunities in where you can pull these fights back just by dumping ults into them. Man advantage in GOATs is more important than just about anything else that you can possibly do. And Kalamar there, choosing to try and re-engage with the man disadvantage, but the ult advantage, you see exactly why that's a little bit rough sometimes. They lost that fight and lost the entire map because of it. Whereas if they had pulled back a little bit, let their own team come back, take a re-engage right when the cart's about to cap, I think we see a very different story there. At least another fight or 2 on Kalamar's side where they have the chance to continue to extend that time bank, or whittle down that time bank, as it were. Instead, we are on to map 4, the one that I was most excited for. It is Assault!
Yes, indeed, the 2CP. You know, if you've only ever played Overwatch 2, you're probably confused as to this hidden game mode you may have never heard of, but for those of us who were here for Overwatch 1, there's a very interesting, you know, sort of fan base around it. Some people loved it, some people hate it. There really was no in-between, but we have some interesting little swap-ups, actually, before we get to Assault. We have, seems like New Jeans is swapping people in and out. We have Nevo coming in, as well as Moogle, switching up the support line, maybe just making sure everybody gets a little bit of play time going. And you're figuring, you know, you're up 3 maps, why not, right? But all it takes is, you know, you give the other team an inch, they could take a mile with a reverse sweep.
I think that's less of a playtime switch and more of a we're gonna play Winston here switch. It's Assault. If there's ever a time to play Winston, it's now. I mean, Hanamura, Anubis, or Volskaya are the maps that we have in the pool for this. All 3 of them are very viable Winston. I would say even excessively viable Winston maps when compared to, you know, Hybrid or Escort. There's a lot of high ground. There's a lot of mobility that's required. Hanamura is a little bit more open for Reinhardt, but even then, I would say Winston's probably the play here. Um, as getting that Ana on high ground is already absolutely huge, and there's no way to dislodge an Ana on high ground unless you're playing Winston on any of these maps. So I would not be surprised at all to see this just be a we're playing Winston here swap rather than, you know, whatever else.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, it could be a Winston. It could, I mean, there's several different layers of prediction, right? Because it also, as you said, it depends on which 2CP map that we are heading to. So many different kind of looks to them, even though people are like, oh, they all play the same. You know, Temple of Anubis, it plays a lot different. There's lovely little high ground you can hold on. I think that was one of the most infamous maps, not just for goats, but also for the double shield meta, if you think back to it, just because of that high ground and how oppressive it can feel. But, you know, Hanamura always feels a lot more open. You can do some sneaky little rotations depending on what you want to do, but seems like unless I'm being trolled, the pick is actually going to be Anubis, interestingly enough. And like I said, that high ground, it's very, very oppressive. You're going to have to do some interesting rotations for the offense in order to figure out exactly how you want to assault this.
Yeah, I think what's going to be most interesting about this is a lot of time, if I remember correctly, with 2CP, we pull out the sim playing goats. You sub out the Zarya, sub in the sim, just to get the teleport to point, trying to get, you know, just cut out the middleman, not deal with the high ground, not deal with those rotations. They're really, really hard to deal with on offense. And so you'd play sim in order to just cut that out, not have to deal with it. Not in the rule set for this tournament. No sim, no BAP, which is usually how goats teams would break through these holds on 2CPs, is sim and BAP. Without those two, we're going to be seeing like early days of goats before it went through a couple of different revisions, getting to the end node of goats on this 2CP point. I think Winston here is required. I think if you're not playing Winston, there's no way to dislodge it. I don't want to deal with an Ana on high ground that can just throw nades into your backline, and you're going to be dealing with that on the defensive side here. I think there's almost no way to dislodge an Ana just sitting up on high ground without playing the Winston. Even if you're just playing the Diva, break packs plus sleep dart make your life very, very, very sad. Trying to go and dislodge Anas in that situation.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, besides that one little, you know, outing of Ana on King's Row, you know, neither team has really leaned into it all too much, so it kind of becomes this level of mind game where people are like, are you going to try to switch it up? Do I need to swap Winston because you're swapping? Like, people just kind of go back and forth with it mentally, trying to think about, you know, what to do, when ultimately they could just play it safe. You know, some silly little rotations can get the job done, and that also is mainly point A, right? Like, once you go point B, you kind of have, even if you're on the Ana, you have to go back to probably the Zen or the Moira if you're feeling it. But, you know, interestingly enough, I think you hit the nail on the head, and it seems I will be the one wrong here. The Winston defense with the Ana playing super far back, playing safe, is going to be the name of the game here. And yeah, there's not really any option for Calamar, if they're not going to play the Winston, to be able to get onto this Ana.
I don't know that that's a viable comp right there. There we go. I'm sorry, yeah. Yeah, I don't think you can play both the Winston and the Reinhardt, though that would be interesting. Maybe a day that's not today, we'll see that one come on out. Instead, though, we are just going to be running this Rein into this Winston. Already, Anti is making life a little bit harder for Calamar here.
Just a sampling, just a taste of the anti coming through, letting you know exactly what you're up against here. And now you're seeing the slow push out onto the high ground, but Ghost realizing I'm cut off from my team, having to go back, having to regroup here. And it is going to be the Zenyatta falling first for Calamar, so now they have to make a choice. They either commit to this without a Zen, or they just have to fall back and wait for the Zen to try to make that rotation again. It seems like there's an interesting level of commit here as Fires goes in, gonna get demaxed for their hubris. It's just absolutely blasphemous to go in that hard. Soulcatcher will pay for it with their lives, though, so gonna be a bit of a back and forth here. Ghost dropped incredibly low before those armor packs and that healing came through. Obviously super scary here, but it seems like it seems like Calamar wants to engage, but they're just too scared. And Donkey Finger is now going to be able to follow up on their Graviton, do tons and tons of damage, having to give up Mogul's life in the process, but that will be the first hold.
I mean, playing in that spot is brutal against a Winston and against an Ana. You just do so much damage on the Winston there, cleaving through everything, as well as that Bubble's ability to split off team members from each other. It's wild trying to play in that area. You want to because there's the Mega right there, but it gets very, very difficult. Now, we're going to see Overden getting onto a different play out here for Calamar, and once again, a 5-person ante to start us off.
And now with the Nano Winston heading in, it is going to force the beat out from Say in order to keep everybody nice and healthy here. Now the Primal being committed, but interestingly enough, Ghost knows that this Shatter can be committed at any time, not choosing to drop it onto just the Winston, at least for the moment here, as the rest of this offense is trying to poke out on the high ground. They do manage to find Mogul, interesting, with the Rhine pin into the back line. So now Calamar is going to be able to get some power building on this point here. You're seeing the Rhine pin super aggressive. You know, there's no run on the other side, right? That Shatter should feel a little bit more free. You just have to worry about the Zarya bubbles, really. But it is going to be now thigh highs falling, Vibe doing so much on this Brigitte, just being the damage dealer, deciding this fight will be my fight. And that's going to be point A unlocked here. Now, New Jeans, they have to pivot their comp a bit.
Yeah, New Jeans, they're looking a little bit disconnected at the end of the point. Both Thigh Highs and Saltcatcher going in really, really aggressively. But we don't see that return with the rest of the team. Both Donkey Finger looking to sit that one out a little bit means we get right on to second point.
Yes, indeed. The grab bomb combo, it doesn't seem to gain anything. Actually, the bomb was used just to try to keep everybody alive, not have to worry about anything here. The Shatter doesn't connect with much, but it doesn't matter because it goes now swinging the hammer left, right, and center until Donkey Finger manages to take them down here. So now, even though the defense has lost a few members, they're going to be able to hold simply because, you know, this is the nature of 2CP. If you don't remember, if you didn't exist through it, as a pause is being called in the chat, they're spamming the P. Hopefully somebody will click the P button. We're pausing, we're champing, we're pausing, we're champing. There's just pause.
There we go.
There it is. Somebody had to wake up, do their job. Hee. But yeah, I mean, see, that's kind of what I fear whenever you're on that Winston on a right, is it's phenomenal for point A and it can allow you to do a lot of stuff for point A, but once you're forced to point B, the Winston becomes so unbelievably useless because the Rhine can run you down. And the Ana, there's not as many safe spots for you to play from. It's definitely a lot harder. So it is something to always keep in mind.
I agree that it's a lot harder to play the Ana on second. You can't play the Winston, you have to play that Reinhardt. Like that's kind of set in stone. I will say though, with the Ana, I think you can still find really, really good nade entries. Due to that rate, you have to cross along to get onto the point. I think if Ana plays off on that left side, it's pretty easy to sneak a nade in there and possibly win the fight before it even gets started.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of winning a fight before it gets started, you're seeing Vibe walk forward with this rally, but it is actually going to be a pin from Salt, but the Shatter doesn't get anything here, so now the whole team grabbed up. Chimps has them all in it. The question is, will there be follow-up? And the answer is actually no, because on the other side of things, the Diva Bomb is going to catch Ghost, so now that grab that Chimps invested is all for naught here, as it just seems like the rest of Calamar, after losing the Rhine, they've realized they just can't fight this, and now being forced to fight in their spawn, they lost Nano trying to keep Salt alive here. It's a super overcommitment here. Like, Calamar's about to be able to take this one. They're going to the point. They're going to be able to start the cap going. Super crazy overcommitment from New Jeans. Now going to have to find a way back into this point in pretty much a staggered fashion here. You're seeing them swap over to the Zen to use the Discord, hopefully to burst something down. Both Rhines on the floor. The Diva, the only one touching point here. The Zarya is now going to be next to fall. Donkey Finger cannot live long enough. Meanwhile, the Transcendence is keeping Calamar entirely safe and healthy here. And due to a huge misplay from New Jeans, it seems like the cap's going to come through with 2 minutes in the bank for Calamar.
Yeah, and the most surprising thing about that is, like, look, I love the aggression. I'm here for it. You've got the advantage, push it. End of the day. The problem is, though, they didn't have a support ult. And that means you're not going to get a recontest if Calamar is able to swing onto the point. Without a support ult on the side of New Jeans, there's nothing to overcome that just numbers difference that Kalmar is going to have on that point. Like second point Anubis, you can hold and stall it out for all time if you do it correctly. The problem is you have to get some amount of foothold onto the point to be able to start that 8-year-long contest. And without a support ult, you're not going to find your way there. I really don't know that they thought about, what happens if we lose this fight in that situation. I think they were just looking to continue to push their advantage, continue to push aggression, and that time they get punished for it. That's been the name of the game all day long, is the aggression going to be punished? It's been a punished game first and foremost for a lot of this match, and that's one of the first times that New Jeans really has been punished for going that aggressive.
Yeah, and I mean, hate to be the one to keep bringing it back to this, but that support ult situation that could be solved by if you were on the Zen for second point instead of the Ana, right? Because as we saw, the Nano boost, it tried to come onto Saltcatcher there, but unfortunately just lost the Nano entirely because there's too much damage coming through onto the Rhine, and it creates just sort of a very odd situation where the Transcendence would have been a lot nicer, but now both teams playing standard goats again as we're heading into this map, and oh my goodness, wait, this rotation, if they're not expecting it, they're trying to chase down the D.Va, they're like, hey guys, what's going on? Meanwhile, their whole backline is being walked on. Saltcatcher actually manages to get the whole team just rotated. It was a very odd rotation, but it just somehow brings the fight to point. Okay, we're just going to keep it moving, keep it pushing. As they say here, both Ryans on the floor, but the follow-up's going to come through onto Ghost first, but now both Ryans are down with the point almost fully capped here for the offense. New Jeans is just looking to finish up onto something, and that is going to be the Lucio for Kalmar down, and now with Chimps out of the fight, Donkey Finger decides nobody will take me out but me. Probably some right-click recoil damage is going to be the name there, and that's just going to be a very interesting point A cap with 6 minutes in the bank.
Yeah, I mean, I think that really comes down to the amazing play by Hi-Hi's there on the Lucio. Being able to sweep around and swerve to exactly where they need to be and keep everyone alive in that situation. I mean, that's just great Lucio play that leads to a fight win by flipping the point.
Yes, indeed. The D.Va Bomb does not find anything. Meanwhile, Chimps is now grabbed, and everybody else is getting stunned up in the grab, but unfortunately there was just the follow-up damage was not there, and so now Jeans is going to slowly start trying to get onto this point here. It's going to be the Zen trying to keep everybody alive with that Transcendence, but Transcendence could only last for so long here. As it ends, health bars are already beginning to dwindle once more. You're hoping to get towards that beat, but actually Ghost gives you an opening by taking down the enemy Lucio, and now the grab actually committed as well in desperation from Donkey Finger. This defense is going to be able to hold, and they're able to do it while forcing ults out.
This is what we were expecting from Anubis' second point right here. That was a one fight by New Jeans. You kill 3 in goats, you win. That should be what it is. Not the case when you've got a support ult on your side on Anubis point B. I mean, you can just extend and extend and extend and extend forever in this one until you find the advantage you need to win, and that's exactly what happened right there.
Yes, indeed. Now a D.Va Bomb being sent in aggressively in the counter pin means that Ghost had no choice but to give up their life, and so this is another huge opening for New Jeans, but the question is, can they make it work? The beat was committed to try to keep everybody nice and healthy, but the D.Va Bomb on the other side of it now catches not 1, not 2 supports, but a D.Va mech as well for the troubles. Sure, Chimps goes down, but this defense, they're going to have the quicker respawn. They're going to be able to get back into this one. The Rhine, the health bar dwindling, nothing much you can do, and now it's just a matter of the Lucio trying to speed out the Zarya, let her keep her charge as long as she can here, and look at this measured aggression coming out from the defense. Kalmar not willing to leave this second point. They know exactly where they need to hold.
I hope you like Anubis point B, because it seems like we're going to be staring at it for a minute here. With that trance already come up, you're seeing Kalmar do a really good job of rotating through their supports ult here, making sure they always have at least one of them ready to go. And so I think we're going to be seeing this point for a hot minute.
Yes, indeed, and with Saltcatcher going down despite the rally coming through from Mogul, and now you're seeing the Transcendent. Actually, Kalmar, bit of an overinvestment. That's all 3 of their support ultimates that they've given into this one, and ensure to win you the fight in resounding fashion, but you kind of already did that with the pick onto the Rhine, so this grab bomb combo is going to have to be big.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what they're looking for there. On the other side of here, New Jeans is set up exactly how they need to be in order to take this fight win. There's the bomb. Shadow coming through later, maybe?
Yeah, no, but unfortunately the Shatter was not there just yet, and there's going to be follow-up on this grab, but now the Shatter, everybody's on the ground, and it seems like back and forth damage is finally going to start resulting in the offense's favor here, but the Lucio, depending on how long the stall comes through, it means the rest of the team can get back, finally is going to fall, and that means this point percentage is going to start ticking up here. The beat now to keep everybody on this offense healthy, knowing that they don't have all their members back just yet here. Virus is going to go down, stalling this point out. The pin from the Rhine, unfortunately, Ghost doesn't find a lot. Commits the Shatter, doesn't even manage to let the hammer hit the ground before it's all said and done. The point's ticking up, the percentage is there, and we're looking at pretty solidly even time banks heading into OT round.
God, did I both miss and not miss Assault? Yeah, 2CP can be brutal like that. We watched, what, 8 minutes of Overwatch to see nothing change. And both teams being almost exactly at the same time bank. I mean, we saw a huge misplay by New Jeans, and then a heroic resurgence on their own attack that led to 17 seconds. I mean, that if you've only ever played Overwatch 2 and you're wondering why this game mode isn't in Overwatch 2, I'm giving you a crash course on it right here, right now. It's going to be Calamar starting off on this attack. New Jeans not opting for the Winston on point A this time. I respect that. I think with the hold they had on first point to second last time, I think not starting on the Ana and the Winston probably is the play. Not because it's not better on first point, but because I think both teams have realized that first point's basically a drop in the bucket. Pretty much every single Assault game happens on second. You assume you're going to lose first point. It's just how much time can you take off the clock before you do. And then second point is where the hold happens. I think New Jeans is playing that reality here by not choosing to pull up the Winston on this second point.
Yes, indeed. And look at how aggressively you're seeing Thigh-High's positioned on this Lucio, just kind of taunting the spawn, a little bit of haze and hellos from the Lucio here. But yeah, it's going to be the rotations coming through. We have to remember, Calamar, they've got to win this map and everything after, otherwise the tournament life is over. So they've got to be going all out here. They're going in aggressively. The Discord put onto Salt Catcher. Should mean you can burst down that Rhine, but interestingly enough, it's actually Ghost on the other side, the first one to fall here, and that's just going to be the go button for the rest of New Jeans to kind of walk through this room and get a huge ult advantage going as they're able to wipe out the entirety of Calamar.
And just like that, Staggers comes through on the D.Va, and only a minute left on the clock. I would say they probably have about one fight left to try and make any progress on this point. And I don't know what the play here is, because that left side rotation works really well against the Ana, not so well against the Reinhardt. Really, the Reinhardt play is to go in that room with the Mega, but when you lose one, make that lose two before we even get started. Not what you're looking for.
Yes, indeed, I would say, look at this fight, but the fight is over. The pin, look at that, touching the spawn door challenge complete. And now look at how the Assault Catcher just wants to stay here. It's just like, hey, I'm just letting you know I am here. This is incredibly insane. The D.Va bomb, through their shield.
No way!
This is just insanity. This is disrespect coming out from New Jeans. Look at this. They're in the spawn. They're not wanting to leave, but this could actually be the punishing factor. Gasol does go down, but Chimps is taken down on the other side here. 17 seconds. Someone's going to have to find a way to point here. The Shatter is stopped because Thigh-Highs kills them. Meanwhile, the D.Va and the Zen are both on point here. There should be a tick coming through, potentially a second, but it is going to have to be in overtime here. Fire is trying to build up to this bomb, being the savior, but I don't know if it's enough. Thigh-Highs commits the beat, and now the Transcendence on the other side of it. This offense is trying to keep itself alive. They're actually going to be able to get players back here, but not before their Zen goes down, and now it's creating a disaster situation. They have to find a win con. It couldn't be this grab. If they can find the damage in it, the Rhine drops low. That is the start of something, but unfortunately, it does not seem to be the start of a victory here. 59% is all they have to their name to try to hold and keep their hopes alive.
Thank God for no draw. That's all I'm at, is Assault is really, really good at sapping 30 minutes from your life and then leaving you with no one winning. Anytime we have a solidified no draw on 2CP, it's a happy day. Today, no draw. They're really looking for 60% on the board for New Jeans in order to find their win, and they got 2 minutes to do it. And last time it was an over-aggression and a punish that led to any sort of progress being made from Calamar. Would it be interesting to see how that aggression works out here on the offensive side? I imagine we're going to see another one of those big left side pushes, at least starting us out. It's where you want to play. You've got the Mega at your back. Very, very nice things happen when you play goats around a Mega pack. I would expect to see that one coming through here. I would also expect to see New Jeans looking to play this aggressively. You've got 2 minutes, which normally means you'll have about 3 or 4 fights. In goats, it means you've got 2. So you've got to still play it quick, even though you do have a fair amount of time on your side.
Yes, indeed. And New Jeans, I mean, I think the one thing that can stop New Jeans here really is themselves, right? If they get a little bit too silly, a little bit too funny with it like they did at that last moment there, then that could be the door opening for Calamar. But this defense is literally do or die. Grand finals on the line here, and we're seeing, interestingly enough, they're rotating left. They want to go straight to point. They want to force that point pressure, and Ghost actually manages to find the break first. This is a beautiful start to the defense here, but it's actually traded almost instantly. We're going back and forth here. Donkey Finger again taking themselves out. Interestingly enough, it seems like the D.Va should live for the moment here, but it is just going to be this Reinhardt finally falling here, and the defense, you know, by the skin of their teeth, hold on.
Yeah, that's why you don't take it straight to point. It's just way too easy to pick off the lingering members of your support who aren't able to get through the choke quite as fast. There you see exactly what happens. You know, Ghost catches out Moogle, and Moogle's been one of the standout players for GG New Jeans, and so without them in the mix, just gets that much harder to overcome any sort of deficit that you might find here. This rotation looking a lot cleaner.
Yes, indeed. They rotate. They can keep their Zen up on the high ground in a very safe position here. Look at all this damage coming through from above. The first casualty to fall on this defense, it's going to be the Lucio and the Zen combined. But Virus might be the hero that they needed for this defense. Trading it back now with a one-person advantage here. The D.Va assaulting the high ground, trying to take that Zarya down, but unfortunately it seems like it's not going to be the case. The Zarya now having to run for their lives is being hunted on the other side here. Virus might have saved this defense. They might have an opening. The Transcendence is being forced. Ultra just being thrown, hoping to find something. Does that D.Va Bomb connect? No, it does not. And now we're seeing the pin come through. Oh, and that's going to be the Zen down. Wait just a moment. This defense is finally starting to come together here. Ghost just swinging that hammer, killing everything in their path, doing so much damage. The Brigitte 1 HP just wants to perish. Doesn't manage to find it here, but we're dipping below 20 seconds. They still have a grab, they still have a bomb, and they're going to get a Transcendence.
Yeah, Moogle lived too long there. That's really what it comes down to. They lived way too long. They needed to die around 30 seconds. They died around 15.
And they still the
When Say gets found playing hide and seek, that's going to be all she wrote, I think. We're trying to see a touch here. They're going to find it, but at what cost?
The grabs on both sides here. Now the D.Va Bomb being thrown up into the air creates so much space and pressure on the point. Doesn't manage to actually find anybody though. And that is going to be Ghost falling. Rhymes traded back and forth. The Transcendence now keeping everybody on this defense nice and healthy. But there's no ultimates in their name. Nothing they can really commit. And it is going to be the Lucio the next to fall with the Zen. This defense finally starting to crumble. The path to victory is open for New Jeans. They just have to take this Zarya and this D.Va off the point. The Zarya, no bubbles, no nothing. The baby D.Va, the last one to try and touch, but it seems like it was all for naught. The point progress is going to slowly tick up. A little bit of BM, but the Shatter actually, the Rhine, I would love to say it's going to do a lot, but unfortunately, Rhine, you're not doing a lot by yourself. The Lucio's there just to die to the D.Va Bomb. The slow tick up, only having one person on the point, a bit of BM, some bad manners, but it shows that New Jeans is just too powerful. They take the grand finals in 4-0 fashion.
I'm amazed. I don't know how you pull that back from the brink. I don't know how you live long enough while staying on the point, just enough to keep it active, but New Jeans sure does do it. We've seen time and time again of, oh, there's no way this silly aggressive play that New Jeans, you know, there's no way they find their way back from it, and yet every single time they did find their way back. I mean, there's just, I could not be more impressed with the plays that New Jeans is doing here. Every single time, it looks like this should be the end. It looks like they should be punished. No, they refuse to go quietly into the night. And just like that, New Jeans is your EU mid-tier champions in a convincing 4-0.
I mean, it truly was an amazing series. You know, there was points in the series where it got close. We think back to Kings, and that last map. I mean, like you just highlighted it perfectly, Loki. Colomar had that one. They had a 6-5 advantage because they had just killed the baby diva, heading into OT with the grab bomb combo, but the bomb went wide, no damage came through, and then even with the transcendence, the second it ended, supports started falling left and right, and Nugent just being able to bring that back, it just shows how good their coordinated level of teamwork is and how well they were able to just sort of execute on exactly what GOATS is, right? It's just high synergy, high momentum composition, and they just executed flawlessly.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know what more you can ask for there. I think we've seen basically the definition of GOATs. Long fights where we come back and deal with our aggression and deal with the mistakes in a way that can't be punished. I mean, that's just an amazing, amazing, amazing play.
Yes, indeed. And, you know, full congrats to New Jeans. It sucks that we didn't have more teams sign up for our EU mid-tier so we could see them play just a little bit longer. But I'd say both these teams definitely gave us a run for our money. You know, Colomar, like, it just is the matter of, it seems like Jeans' execution was just a little bit tighter, a little bit cleaner. But nothing to be ashamed of. You played some GOATs, you had some fun, but that is going to be the wrap of the grand finals here, Loki.
Yeah, with that, we're going to throw it to a break, but there should be more GOATS action going on. If you want to hop over to CGL 1, there should be some main stream there, and we'll be back with the EU Open bracket before you know it.